Good morning, foolish adventurers, and welcome back to the channel. I am Amalgam Ash, and today I'm going to play DungeonQuest, this time with Volrik the Brave. Volrik has the following characteristics: 4 strength, 7 agility, 4 armor, and 8 luck. He has 15 life points, a good, balanced starting hero to try our luck with. He will enter Dragonfire Castle through the southwest tower with our sun track at the beginning. Let's begin. I've chosen the Ring of Luck this time. You may use this ring to retake any 1 dice roll that you are not satisfied with. You must decide to use the ring immediately after you have rolled the dice, and you must accept the result of the second roll. We will use, I think, this ring during this playthrough. We will begin by journeying to the north. And one more note before play truly begins. I know, on video, it can seem as though I could set this up to just be a good video, to be advantageous to my winning or whatever. But all I can do is assure you that I have shuffled all the cards and the room tiles, and this is as blind of a playthrough as I can have. And the first tile is a Chamber of Darkness. Entering this room means that nothing happens. The sun track advances, and then I must roll a die to figure out where I end up with. Now, this particular Chamber of Darkness has 3 exits: the one through which I entered, an exit to my left, and an exit to my right. The rules say that if there are 3 exits, that you roll a 6-sided dice, and a result of 1 or 2 means you leave the way you came. 3 or 4 means you leave out the closest exit clockwise, and 5 or 6 means you leave out the closest exit anti-clockwise. In this case, however, I think I'm going to count it as 2 exits instead of 3, which means a roll of 4, 5, or 6 means I will leave out the exit I hoped to go through. And it's a 1, so of course I find myself right back in the tower. Nothing else has happened, but the tower room is safe, so I don't draw a room card. And I will attempt to leave this tower room again, this time going east, because forget that Chamber of Darkness. Just forget it. Clumsily drawing a room tile, and Volrik steps through what appears to be a normal archway, feeling his foot click on something, and dreading the sound of a rusty gate slamming shut behind him. We will draw a room card, and we have found a potion. Interesting. Well, we will take this potion, but we will not drink it at this time. We may find reason to drink it a little bit later. For now, the sun track advances, and we must press on. We haven't made much progress, but we'll be going this way, of course. We'll draw a room tile. I actually hate how I have these in here. I'm going to draw from this stack. By the way, and it'll seem obvious now, Catacombs is installed, which means that I have the Catacombs expansion tiles and cards shuffled in with the base game. The wider tiles are definitely Catacombs tiles, but for better or for worse, we're going to make sure that we draw them. Oh, and this is just a regular room. What's in this regular room, however? It's empty. This is a fine result. I have nothing against empty cards. We will continue, this time to the north. And this is a fairly regular room as well. I fear that the slamming down of the portcullis has alerted the monsters of Dragonfire Castle to my presence. But it seems that someone was here just before me. I will search this dead adventurer. Volrik the Brave has no qualms about taking advantageous materials from those who came before. But he has found nothing this time. We'll set those aside. I don't need to shuffle them back into their decks at this time. And I will advance northward, drawing one more tile. This time, oh boy. This time finding a bridge tile. I've come to a chasm with a narrow bridge stretching across it. I do not draw a room card, and I may not search this room. Instead, I must decide if I want to try to cross the bridge. If I want to make the attempt, I must do so in the same turn that I enter the tile. And I do. If you decide not to cross the bridge, you remain standing on the side that you entered, and your next turn must return to the previous tile. To cross the bridge, roll your agility score or less on a d10. Alright. Very well. If you fall off the bridge, you drop down into the catacombs. We'll roll a d10 to see how many LPs I lose in the fall, if that is the case. And then we'll find out what happens if I enter the catacombs in that way. Well, it doesn't mean instant death, so I'm okay with it, no matter what. I'm going to go ahead and roll. On this d10, his agility is 7, so I think that we have pretty good odds here. Although, I may have just jinxed myself. I rolled a 9, which means I fell immediately. Down, down, down into the catacombs. To resolve this, I need to roll a d10 to see how many LPs I've lost in this fall. It's not a good result. 4. I have now entered the catacombs, and I may not climb back out. We'll place a direction of travel token, and I'll go ahead and move in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll move north. And hopefully I don't overshoot the treasure room if I'm able to climb my way back out of the catacombs. I'm not going to use my luck ring at this time because I actually don't mind being in the catacombs. I think that they're fine. I'm going to eat those words though. Now that we advance the sun track, which I have been failing to do anyway, and draw our first catacombs card. And my torch has gone out, which makes sense. Volrik just took a nasty fall, losing LPs. It makes sense that his torch would go out in the fall. Our turn does immediately end, however, on this next turn I get to select 3 numbers from the d6 and attempt to relight my torch and take my turn as normal. So, 3, 1, and 5. It's a 6, and I do not relight my torch. 3, 4, 5. It is a 5 this time. I have relit my torch, and I will continue onwards. The direction of travel will always be this way while I'm in the catacombs, so no need to indicate where I'm going. No need to draw a room card either. I draw a catacombs card. Ash. It's empty. The sun track advances as Volrik the Brave bravely navigates the dark catacombs. There's a hole in the roof. Now, I believe this is the perfect opportunity for me to leave, because I have 3 catacombs cards, and that's going to advance me 3 spaces from my direction of travel. I'll end up about right here, but now I need to figure out the deviation, left or right. To do that, once again, we follow this table after rolling a d10, and the d10 result is 5, which means that after only 3 catacombs cards, I don't have a deviation. I simply end up here. That's perfect. And the room I end up in is pretty normal. We'll go ahead and place it there. Place my hero back on the board, and the sun track advances. This is the closest I've been to this chamber using a hero. No, that's not right. I actually have a record of playthroughs, and my previous record, playing with Volrik, I did accomplish gathering 6,200 gold pieces. They weren't from the Dragon Room, they were actually from the catacombs and a combination of other places, but I did get to the central chamber and escape with my life. So I think that we'll be able to manage to get some gold this time. I'm going to advance into this chamber, and it's just a normal room. There is a door here, but I'm going to not go through the door. I'm going to try my luck at just continuing down the passage. We do have to draw a room card, and we got the Curse of the Wizard. The Curse of the Wizard is a pretty terrible tile to draw. This comes with the Catacombs expansion. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that at all. I'd delete that. The Curse of the Wizard is a pretty terrible card to draw because we'll be rolling a d6, and the result will tell us how much all the corridor tiles in the dungeon rotate. However, looking at the layout, I don't have any corridor tiles. These are tiles that you move freely through without having to draw room cards or take additional turns to leave. And there are none drawn. This is a corridor-free playthrough so far, which is fine. This is fine with me. We will continue. Onward, brave hero. This time, we'll be going to the room right here, just north. And we have walked into a room that does not lead into the treasure chamber, and not only that, a portcullis is slammed down behind me. And in this room we have nothing. It is at least empty. We are blessed in that regard. The sun track does advance again, and I have no choice but to either search this room, hoping to find a secret door, or continuing to head north, and I think I will head north. Another portcullis room. But at least it seems I will be staying adjacent to the treasure room. This time I've been sneak attacked by an orc. Fantastic. We'll be rolling a d12 minus my luck, which is 8, to see how much damage it is inflicted, and then we will begin combat as normal. With an 8, it is inflicted no damage. For a pittance, we will be decimating this orc for his foolish actions against us. And it looks like the orc flees. That is exactly what I want to see. The orc snuck attack. Seeing that it failed, he cowardly ran off into the depths of the dungeon. Careful not to wake his master. Alright. The sun tracker advances again, and I move into the next room. Please, yes! It's a normal room. This time, we'll be able to enter the treasure chamber on our next turn. Drawing a room card, and we found a crypt. I can't help myself. I have to search this crypt right outside. The dragon's hoard. There's no risk of a dragon waking up and roasting me. What is in this crypt? And in the crypt is a jeweled dagger worth 250 GP. This is a long ways from breaking my previous record with Volrik, but it's alright, I'll take it. No harm. We enter the treasure chamber, and now, moment of truth begins. We will be shuffling dragon tiles and digging around in the treasure room to see what we have gained. Finally. And randomly selecting 2 tiles. Randomly selecting 2 chits, and the 2 that I choose are 300 GP and 4,000 GP. This is not quite breaking my record, but it is on the path to doing so. Unfortunately, the noise that we have made in gathering the treasure has disturbed the dragon sleeping within. The dragon has awoken on the first search. When the dragon awakes, you lose all of your treasure. We return the treasure counters to the cup and any treasure cards to their respective decks. All of my treasure gone. I also lose D12 life points to the dragon's fiery breath. If I survive this, I have to run away, moving my playing piece out of the treasure chamber to an adjacent square, drawing a room tile if the square is empty, but not drawing a room card. I have lost 2 LPs. Narrowly escaping. And all of my treasure. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We didn't need the jeweled dagger, so back to shuffling. While I once again want to thank Always Bored Never Boring for his playthroughs of DungeonQuest, which got me through some rough times at work and inspired me to get the game, as well as begin these playthrough videos. I knew that I wanted to play the game for the channel when I saw it. It's not just DungeonQuest that I want to play. I have a bunch of other games, literally dozens. Advanced Hero Quest, Warhammer Quest, Magic the Gathering Planeswalkers. I don't think I can play that single player. Dungeons and Dragons, WizKids adventures such as The Legend of Drizzt, The Wrath of Ashardalon, Descent, Journeys in the Dark, Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, Temple of Elemental Evil, Hero Quest, of course, eternally Hero Quest, Legend of Zagor, Dark World, Talisman, Domain, Dragon Strike. There are a lot, and there are many others besides. We'll play them all here on the channel if you're just patient enough to wait on me to do so. The soundtrack moves because time ever advances, and Volrik sneaks back into the treasure chamber to see if, perhaps, he can get away with taking some treasure. Would make sense, he thinks, because the dragon wouldn't be expecting me to come back, right? This time, I've collected 270 GP and 220 GP. Not great. Not by a long shot. Not worth risking my life over. The dragon stirs, but stays asleep. The soundtrack advances. Volrik continues his raiding of the chamber, this time ending up with 800 GP and treasure worth 700 GP. This is fine, I think, and this is enough to try to leave the castle with, if we can make it. But that's not all. Does the dragon stir? No, the dragon is sleeping peacefully. I could leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Although I don't have that many spaces left to play with, I can hope for some corridor tiles, which honestly, I'm due for some corridors. It's been sorely lacking in the corridor tile department. Let's take our treasure and run. The soundtrack advances, and I'm going to run into this room. Whatever it may be. Well, it's something. We'll draw a room card. We found a cave-in. Not the cave-in. We will be rolling a d6 after we choose a number. If we roll the number that we chose, our character will be killed by the cave-in. This has already happened in a previous game. I don't want this to happen again. If we roll any other number, we'll simply lose a d6 worth of life points and continue on with our game. The number I choose is 5. We're safe. We've narrowly escaped the cave-in, sustaining 2 life points worth of damage, bringing us down to 7. Let's continue on, this time going to the room to the east. Oh no! It's the second tile that I've drawn upon leaving the treasure chamber, and this is the second instance in which I could die. I must roll a d12, and I have to roll my agility score or less to make it across the pit, and I can take my next turn as normal. But if I don't roll my agility score or less, I'll fall into the pit and out of the game. My agility is 7, there's nothing to it but to do it, so let's just roll. Going to count it as a 7, although it did land just about in the crook, because I believe it would have landed on the 7. I've made it across the pit. The sun tracker continues. It looks like I'll be heading into the southeastern tower to leave Dragonfire Castle, which is completely fine. That's where we will be going. And for once, I found a corridor. I don't have to stop on this. I can continue drawing room tiles. I'll be going south. And it's another corridor. That's a very lucky choice, because if I had gone east instead, it would have winded me back north. We'll continue along this path. Another corridor! This time a T-shape, allowing me to run south. I actually have a fighting chance of getting out of here. This is a normal room, but at this point, I'll take it. That's totally fine. It does terminate, but has a T-shape, so I can exit out this way, to the east, and be ever closer to completing this game. Snotlings! Not Snotlings! Ugh. One of the stone slabs in the room flips open, and a screaming horde of Snotlings rushes out and attacks you. Take the Snotling counters and put them beside your character sheet. Then roll the d10 and the d6, total them, and take Snotling counters to that value. You must now fight them. Ugh. Disgusting, wicked, evil, pain in the arse Snotlings. Let's do this. The d10 and the d6. How many Snotlings have come out of this passage? 4. Only 4. Only 4 Snotlings. We do have enough tiles for 4 Snotlings, so here they are. A representation of the 4 half-breed goblins that run out. Roll a d10 to see how many you kill in the first round of combat. If there are still any left, you lose 2 LPs, and then roll the d6 to see how many extra Snotlings join the fight. We need to roll a 4 and wipe these guys out. We rolled a 9. Volrik the Brave is not having any of this nonsense, and he slays all 4 of the Snotlings, kicking the slab back into place, preventing any more from coming. It didn't look like any more wanted to join the fight after seeing the initial party taken out in a single blow. The time tracker advances, and Volrik is going to head east. This is a catacombs tile, and it contains a passage down. However, I'm not going to take that passage down, so I'll take a room card instead. And there's a sneak attack by an orc. We roll a d12 minus my luck to see how much damage he has inflicted. 11 minus 8. He's inflicted 3 damage upon me. However, this is the time to use my Ring of Luck. I do not wish to keep this roll of 11. I will take a lower roll, hopefully. We'll re-roll this dice with my Ring of Luck, and he's rolled a 1 instead. His sneak attack has completely failed. And now that he knows that we're going to be fighting Orc versus Volrik the Brave, his attack means a combat, 3 LPs. Set the enemy's LPs to 3 and begin our combat rounds. Hopefully, I'll just go ahead and roll a 10 and be done with this. It's a 3. Volrik loses a life point. The orc lunges, kicking Volrik when he expected to be stabbed, taking him off guard. Volrik says, "I will not underestimate this enemy now." A 12. We ignore the result. A 1. Underestimating or no, the orc is skilled and fast, and managed to lunge again at Volrik, this time slicing across his torso. Wounded, but not down or out. Volrik. We ignore 11s. Lunges back, this time taking the orc off guard with a 9. Kicking him, causing him to double over. But the orc springs up, back into action, slicing at Volrik, catching him in the face. Volrik exchanges blows with the orc, in pain, staggering, wanting more than anything to end this bout of combat so that he can leave this accursed castle and never return. Finally, Volrik takes hold of the orc and, despite the orc's vicious fighting back, slams his skull into a corridor wall, killing him, not without taking damage of his own. Volrik is looking very bad. Volrik is not going to survive very much more of this. So it's time to put an end to this journey. Let us run south. As luck would have it, we're able to start seeing what looks like light at the end of the tunnel. We must draw a room card, however. Thankfully, the room is empty. As ever, I'm always grateful for empty rooms. Once again, we will travel south. Yet another normal room tile that allows us not one but two opportunities to get to the southeastern tower. We draw our room card. Don't think I advanced the turn tracker at all. I'm getting caught up in the moment and forgetting what I need to do. There is a dead adventurer here. I will search the dead adventurer. I have found 60 golden guineas. While this is not a lot, it's definitely going to help pay for the room and board Volrik's going to need after he gets properly stitched up upon leaving. And now I have every faith that it is exactly what will happen. For we are going to advance the sun track and move south into a four-way corridor. The four-way corridor allows me to run directly into the corner tower room and end the game, and that is what I will do. I will not be pressing my luck. Volrik the Brave has successfully completed a run of Dragonfire Castle and is able to fill his coffers, at least for a time, with a grand total of 2,050 gold pieces worth of treasure. Volrik the Brave lives to dungeoneer another day. Thank you all very much for watching this playthrough of Dungeon Quest. Please let me know what you thought in the comments below, and please look forward to more Dungeon Quest adventures. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye for now.